What up, everybody? I'm your host, JP, and this is my co host, Josh.
Hey everybody.
And welcome back to another episode of the FilmBros podcast. All right, Josh. Today we're going to be discussing a movie from the year 2025. It wasn't too long ago. You probably still remember it. It is what it is.
Oh yeah.
We're going to be talking about a movie from the year 2025. The fascinating part, though, is that this movie is a remake of a remake. Basically, the movie we're going to be talking about it's been done before back in like 1967. Then it got redid again with Arnold Schwarzenegger back in 1988, 87, something like that.
Yeah.
And then here we are now with a new iteration of said film. Josh, if you want to let them know what we're going to be talking about today, so we can start breaking it down and getting into all that fun stuff. Let's go.
We are reviewing The Running Man 2025.
Ben Richards, 35, married, one child, in medical crisis.
We need money for a doctor now.
Ben, watch yourself.
Employment status, blacklisted. But there's still a way out for you. It's the biggest show in the country.
Bloodlust is our birthright! Set it free! Welcome to the Running Man!
People on these games never come back.
I'm not trying to get myself killed, so kiss my ass twice.
Right there is why you can win this game. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days, with the entire nation hunting you down. And get your family out of Slumside for good.
I'm gonna come back here and burn this building down. I promise. That's the spirit.
Yes, The Running Man. Yes, yes. Like I said, multiple iterations have came from this. If you've seen the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger, I mean, completely different than this one. In a way, it's not really the biggest remake, but more of a reimagining of the story, I would say. For the most part, I mean, like I said, if you've seen the original, I seen the original when I was a kid. It's been a long time. But that's basically it. I don't think it's the same thing. Basically, the premise is basically the same, but they do things way differently. So this seems more, and I don't think it was a dystopia future back then either. I think this is different. So a reimagining, I would firmly put it underneath. Not really
Okay.
a remake per se, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, did you hear about any of the old previous ones? I'm guessing you have.
Well, I've only seen. Okay, well I haven't seen it, but I've seen it around the old Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it's on Paramount, and I wanted to watch it. I do want to check that one out. I'm just like, I want to know how different it is, or what that one's about, if it even is as similar as it's supposed to be. You know what I mean?
I think it's worth a watch. A top Arnold Schwarzenegger movie for sure. I think that one fights for like fourth place. That one and what's the one where he acts like a kid or something? Kindergarten or something like that. I don't remember.
Fuck. I know what you're.
hmm But yeah, so here we are, 2026, talking about a 2025 movie. All right, The Running Man, The Running Man. A reimagining by Edgar Wright. Yes, sir, Edgar Wright. It currently sits at a 62% on the tomato meter with a 78% on the popcorn meter.
I can get behind this. I think I can fully agree with this one.
Nah, kind of. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, when I was doing research for this movie, apparently a lot of people hated it. So I'm kind of curious to see what your take is gonna be with this one. Off the little bit that you kind of gave me through message when we were picking what movie we're gonna do and all that stuff. Um, you kind of said that this would have probably made one of your best movies. Walking into this one, did you let the bad buzz get to you and you didn't watch it back in 2025,
I
or were
mean,
you just waiting? What was it?
I think I was waiting. I think I remember being like, "Oh yeah, I want to watch this one in theaters because it looked really good," and then it just slipped right through because of every other movie that was going around. But
hmm
yeah, no, I kind of wish I had seen it in theaters. That's the way I feel about this one. I didn't even know. I heard it did bad, and I heard like all the bad stuff going on about it. But I'm like, it's Glen Powell. You know what I mean? Like if people if people want him to be the next Tom Cruise, he's gonna have to take some L's. You know what I mean? And
Well,
that's
Tom
just what
Cruise
that
didn't
means.
really take any L's. There's not very many L's to talk about with Tom Cruise, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Okay. Well, I don't know about all
Maybe
that.
maybe the Mummy. You could say the Mummy.
Yeah.
Um,
The Mummy. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
that was later in his career. Vanilla Sky was really good. I feel like he was very particular on what he wanted to do when he was first coming up. Towards the end, I feel like he wanted a franchise. And I think Mission Impossible was the franchise he stuck with, but he tried to do like the Mummy. He tried to be in all kinds of different franchises. Glenn Powell's not off to a bad start. I will say, you know, his charisma really carries him through movies. I just think this is one that's not really doing his charisma any favors. Mm,
Mm. Mm. So
mm,
you're part of that
mm.
like 20%, 25% right there.
Um, I would say the people that hated it were probably I think it was split like 60-40. I would say. But I do think I don't think that I completely hated this movie, but I just don't think it was as great as I was hoping, or at least the trailers were kind of making it out to be. When you told me to go watch it, I mean, I already told you I already had like previously watched it, but the first viewing, I couldn't even remember some of the things because I was like, okay, this is it felt like what the movie was and it was good background noise. And then I watched it in its entirety again and I was like, I don't think I was too off the marker, but there is some really good highlights when it comes to this movie. And then there's some really downsides in my opinion. But we'll obviously discuss all that and do all the good stuff, all the due diligence and whatnot. So directed by Edgar Wright. Like you said, we did have Glenn Powell as Ben Richards, Alyssa Ben as Kathy Richards, David Zayas, Joey Anas as Captain Holloway. Josh Brolin was also in here as what's his name again? Uh,
He was the boss. What's his name?
I
Dan
was
Killian. There you go. Dan
Dan
Killian.
Killian. There you go. Yeah, I can't see his name on here for some reason. It's not on here. I thought he would have been like at the very tippity top. But yeah, and then we had an unexpected person in the third act that really became main in the story. I don't know. We'll probably have to talk about all this as we go down. Josh, if you kind of want to give us a brief little breakdown of what the film is about. Spoiler warning up ahead. We are going to be talking about it in its entirety. It is on Paramount Plus for those that don't want it spoiled. Go check it out and then come back. If not, stick around. Go ahead, Josh.
The Running Man stars Glenn Powell as um, Ben Richards, who down on his luck is trying to find a job, but he's been blacklisted through everything. They live in a future dystopia where if you're rich, you get all the wealth and medicine and everything that you need. Where if you're poor, you scrape by with what you can, and you get no medical help. So, an attempt to help his family get out of the slums, as they say, the slum city, whatever it was called, um, and help his daughter, he decides to join a game show called The Running Man. The premise is simple: you survive a whole month, you get cash on top of bonuses. I think they said you can walk away with about $1 billion worth, and then if you die, you get nothing, and the money goes toward whatever money you ended up getting goes toward your next of kin. And if you get killed, the people that killed you get money. I don't know. There was a lot of rules to it, as simple as it sounds. All we need to know is that Glenn Powell has to survive throughout the whole film.
Basically, um, I mean, you basically got it all narrowed down. There's is a couple of twists and turns, but for the most part, we you got it for what it's supposed to be. Who was the other person that was? I think that was Ruby Rose, right? Or what was her name?
Amelia Jones.
Amelia Jones is the girl like towards the end. Who was the other one that was like Lee Pace? He was the main hunter dude. Who was is it Katie O'Brien? Is that her name?
I'm,
Oh yeah, Katie
oh yeah,
O'Brien
Katie
was the
O'Brien.
other one.
Jenny Laughlin.
There you go, Jenny Laughlin, one of the other supposed criminals in this game. So we'll start with characters, right? Um, I mean, I'll just go first. Glenn Powell,
Okay.
unfortunately, with all the charisma that he could bring to a role, I didn't see it in this one, unfortunately. And I gotta say, it's not him. It has to be because of the story, and the man that they wanted him to be. At one point, they wanted him to be the family man, and then at one point, they wanted him to be the man that stands up for good no matter what. And then it was like, no, only for family. And then it was for, um, for what's better for everybody at one point. And his goals went from being small and focused to his family to being as big as saving the nation. And I was like, I didn't really vibe with that as his character, and especially him having to switch from like like I said, from his stakes being just his kid and his wife to it being to like, oh no, now I gotta save these people and blah blah blah. It just really it threw me for a loop for his character himself.
Yeah.
He did what he could with what he had. Is just more like it didn't seem like the director didn't know where he Edgar Wright himself didn't know which way he wanted to kind of take this man who basically is uh, all good to the point where he's gonna take down a whole corporation and whatnot. I don't know. That was crazy to me. Josh Brolin really stole the show. Coleman Domingo really stole the show.
Yeah.
I like them too in the roles that they were playing all the way through and through. They seemed like they were very much written the way that they were supposed to be. So I really enjoyed those two as actors. Katie O'Brien was cool for the little bit that she was in there. And I want to say Lee Pace. I really liked Lee Pace. I don't know what it was. I think that he would make a great villain in an MCU project somewhere, but I really liked him as
Yeah,
like the main hunter.
he was the final like bodyguard, right?
Yeah, he was the main one, the
Oh
one
yeah.
that had the mask and all that stuff. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. See, I thought so. I was like, wait, his name sounds familiar. I don't know. I kind of liked Glen Powell here. I think that has more to do with. I think what you're saying has more to do with the story. Where I mean, even towards the end, when he was like trying to be like, oh, let me pretend to take you hostage, or it doesn't even matter, and all that stuff. Like, I can understand seeing the flaws in the writing because there is quite a bit, like what you said, like how he jumps from point to point to point, and then it's just basically like, well, you're the guy, so it has to fall all on your lap, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But I enjoyed Glen Powell. I enjoyed uh, um, Thanos. What's his name? I don't know why he spaced out on his name.
Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin. I enjoyed Josh Brolin. Michael Cera. I wish we got more of him, but I enjoyed him too. Coleman Domingo. Every time he was on, I was like, "Dang, what is he gonna say now?" I really enjoyed him. He really does have that front
Yeah,
man energy. It's crazy. Um,
should be the next Black Panther for sure.
I honestly, and like I think if they would have went with him to do King too, I wouldn't have been as mad. You know what I mean?
I see that. Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I think everybody came and went and did as they were supposed to. In my eyes, those three were or four. Those four were the shining like highlights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would say so too, except for Glen Powell. Unfortunately, that's what I'm saying. That like I'm not blaming him himself. I do blame the story, but it's just he had to suffer being the guy who had to jump from point to point, knowing like what I mean. Like it seemed surefire. Like the beginning too, when he was like doing this for his family, and then he literally gets put in the back of the line because he wanted to save somebody who was choking behind him. I was like, this just doesn't. For me, this doesn't make any sense. Like, if he's doing whatever it takes for his family, why is he even turning around to help this person? Like, it doesn't. His motivations just seemed all over the place. I just feel like they
Okay,
kind of did him dirty.
I can combine
You
that.
know? Yeah. Um. So character wise, I mean, I guess we can all agree everybody did their part. I guess we could just have our disagreement when it comes down to Glenn Powell's portrayal. I guess. Um.
Yeah.
World building. World building. Not too much world building when it came to this one. Oh, that was another thing too. Just seeing that as a clip rolled by, him being able to grab all the electric sticks when they're about to like smack him, and he just kind of like stares down the dude and still gets beat up. I'm like, that's a
Uh,
writing choice.
he's just the action man. He just does whatever he wants. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, I guess so. I guess so. World building though, it seemed pretty cool. It didn't seem like they went heavy on like because obviously there's still like a portion of it where it seems like it's Hunger Games in a way. So it would have been nice to kind of know like what happens if they do survive. But they were just kind of like, well, nobody survives. Nobody ever makes it. So then why does anybody ever sign up for this thing? Just give me my sentence and let me be on my way. All right?
Yeah, I mean obviously it's for the people that they think like, oh, money, but even then, like you're right. If the statistics are that no one has survived past 29 days or made it the full 30, why would anyone sign up? You're basically blowing whatever money you got that they gave you and then you're dead. Who cares?
Mhm. Basically.
Like I don't know. That like I can understand the frustration in that. That's kind of dumb.
Yeah, so like I would say like maybe the world building when it comes down to the game itself kind of lacked, but I mean, I guess that's the biggest part of like the world building that you really have. Besides maybe like trying to build the main character's world with which I mean, you kind of got the gist of it. He's the struggling man in the beginning, but
Yeah.
for the most part, I would have liked that. And then throwing in Michael Sarah and these random people to kind of help him, but they really have no knowledge of what's happening as well. It's kind of like it kind of throws you off a little bit. So I gotta say, world building wasn't really the strong suit when it comes to this movie, at all. I wouldn't even say the story itself wasn't the strong suit of this movie.
I don't know. Like the world building, yeah, because it felt a lot like oh, if we already know the corporation's evil, you know what I mean? Why couldn't he that have been the motivation? You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'll take the money. I can even help people or whatever, and we'll be all right. But no, you have a point when you say like his motivations whatever, because at some point it's like, oh man, big corpo is evil, but it's like I feel like we knew that. Obviously,
Yeah.
the wealth are eating fat, and you're eating scraps. Your kid's dying. Like, of course they're evil. You're like, what do you
I think
mean?
we automatically knew that when they wasn't it like in the first like 20 minutes of the movie they already had played a clip and it was a forged clip. Like it wasn't he didn't even say the things that he said and they made up his whole backstory,
Yeah.
right? And it was like, okay, well that's not I wouldn't trust these people to my fullest or whatever, right?
Yeah,
So
and like just I mean they're just like, oh, that's TV, and it's like, really, like I wouldn't have trusted these motherfuckers. They are killing people for entertainment.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Basically. Um, so yeah, world building probably not the strongest suit. We could have probably dug a little bit more into the whole why is this here? What, what was it? What made them even build it in the first place? Because I mean, they kind of touched up on it when they were like, "Oh yeah, we faked it in the beginning." It was like, but how did they realize that it wasn't fake enough, right? Like, there's certain things that we could have probably it probably would have helped build the story a little bit better and maybe reinforce them as this giant evil corporation if they would have followed it a little bit more
Yeah,
through. But they kind of just half-assed it, which kind of sucks. Kind of sucks. The plot, staying alive for 30 days without dying. I mean, it's simple. It's effective. I mean, this is a story that I mean, if they really would have followed him on a day to day, they could have had him running around, changing his name, doing all kinds of stuff, and really made it into this like thriller. Like, oh, are they gonna catch him at any time? But I feel like they sacrificed that part of it just for the boom bang pow action sequences and you can't have your cake and eat it too, and I felt like this movie was trying to do everything. And that's my problem with the plot.
yeah. It could have been a real like Catch Me If You Can. You know what I mean?
There you go. Like a Catch Me If You Can. Yeah, but like deadly.
Right, right. And like, sure, give him a gun. Have a couple shootouts here and there. Evade the main people, but yeah. Also, I don't know. I think that was it was obviously to keep you entertained, the action, the explosions, and stuff like that. But yeah, there's a couple times where you were just like, oh, well, we was that really needed? Did we need a fucking, you know what I mean? The fireworks and the money shot. I'm sure was the fucking the bridge scene. You know what I mean? Like, did we need that stuff? Probably not.
The building exploding, all that stuff. I'm like, I mean, I get it, go big or go home, but aren't we trying to not kill civilians too? Like, I just didn't understand that as well. Like, people that aren't part of the game, we're not trying to get them involved, are we? Unless it's to report and stuff. I don't know. It's just a lot of stuff with the plot. There was a lot of plot holes. Let's just be honest. When it comes down to this film, with a very simple plot, to have so many plot holes, that's how you know this movie was kind of trying to do all kinds of things, but just um, either because I noticed that even in the beginning there was like no action sequences, no nothing. Like I wonder if the movie was at one point that thriller, and people were like, "Well, no, we need a little bit boom bang pow for our buck, and they went back and added certain action scenes in there.
Probably, I can see that because yeah, you're right. Like like when his initial couple, like was it the first like 2 days where he was actually like doing the undercover thing,
Mm-hmm.
that felt a lot more different than what we were doing towards the end.
Yeah. And I understand it's supposed to ramp up as time goes on because ratings and things go up or whatever, blah, 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 blah. But I don't know. It seemed like they were trying to go for a different feel. And then at one point, they were like, well, we need action in here.
Yeah,
We
and they
need to
did,
throw something.
and they didn't even show how they found him in the first place to even get to that boom bang pow. The dude just shows up, and
Mm-hmm.
he's like, "Oh, I caught him," and then the that whole apartment sequence happens and all that stuff. But it's like, well, I feel like we missed how you found him in the first place.
Yeah, because he escaped the hotel. They found him at the hotel, but then he went somewhere else. So how did they find him there? But, I mean, they were kind of going into it like, oh, they have eyes on you at all times, even when you think you're alone or something like that. But they never showed that because they even told us that you need a physical ball that is a camera to fly over you so they could capture all that. So if we didn't
Yeah,
see a physical ball, then how do we know that they're tracking him?
yeah, exactly.
I
Yeah,
don't know. I don't know. I don't know. A lot of plot holes. A lot of plot holes. Even like towards the end, let's just be honest too. Like that whole third act and throwing in, her name was Amelia Jones. That or not in the movie, but her real actress's name. Like them throwing her in there, like towards the end, was kind of like such a curveball because she didn't need to overstay her welcome. I feel like putting her on the plane, making her a part of everything that's happening so late in the game, just really, it really it gummed up the works for me for sure.
yeah. I could imagine like imagine if that was like his wife. You know what I mean? He's like, you know what? I don't think I can do this. I think I'm gonna just go home, see her, and then she gets roped in with everything, and then he's like, "Well, we got to survive now." Like that probably
Mm-hmm.
would have changed it up a bit, but to have a rando tag along and be like, "Oh, I feel guilty,"
You made me
like
feel guilty because I buy fur and Prada.
exactly like that. Her character, I thought was the most unnecessary bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't get that her being there at all.
Well, that's what's supposed to make the stakes go higher from, oh, just my family, to being like, oh, you guys are all sick individuals because you guys all watch this too, and it's like, okay, but weren't you watching it at one point too, guy? Like, weren't you like
Yeah,
debating I should be there at one point? Like, I don't, I just, there's certain things that just the decisions as his character made just didn't add up overall with the movie, if that makes sense. It's not it's not the best cinematography though.
I thought that show was great. I think the camera work for this movie was pretty fucking cool.
Well, I feel like we've seen a little bit better though out of like Baby Driver and stuff like that with like the action scenes and stuff. This one, that's what I'm saying. Like some of these felt flareless, like they felt standard. Like you needed to put these action scenes in there because people thought it was too boring. There was nothing unique that happened. There was certain fun things like like we're talking about the whole explosion at that one like little low end motel or whatever. But like the whole, they put it in the trailer, but the whole grenade, throwing it up and the elevator falling, him making it out, and like the airplane stuff, like everything felt standard. It didn't feel anything like there was no unique stuff to the action sequence like we've seen with Edgar Wright in his previous work.
I could get behind that a little bit. I don't know. I kind of enjoyed like when the camera did something pretty interesting. I was like, all right, this is pretty cool. Like I think most of the fight scenes were on the plane was probably like my second favorite one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would say standard, but at the same time I had fun. So
Okay. Okay. I had fun with some of them, but like I said, it just felt a little. Some of them just felt a little too standard for me. Um, but yeah, Josh. With that being said, I think we're basically at the end. I mean, this movie was pretty much uh, your basic action film turned into something greater,
yeah.
or tried to do something greater. So, I mean, if you want to give us your little spiel, give us your rating: 10 being the best, 1 being the worst, 5 being in the middle. Go ahead.
This is a problem because as much as because I did enjoy this one so much, but yeah, you break it down, you get technical, it all falls apart. But I really think I enjoyed this action flick from top to bottom for the most part, and like I'd rewatch this again. I have no problem rewatching it. I gotta give it like 8 out of 10. That's action flick like Jason Statham kind of numbers right there.
I feel like this one, it kind of goes down to like the same spot that I would put like Bullet Train or something. I feel like it does what it needs to do. I'm entertained through it for the most part, but when you like how you said, when you really start to think about it and like the story and stuff, you're just like, you're sitting there like, wow, we could have probably got into that a little bit differently and maybe hit it a little bit on the head a little bit more. I did like certain scenes. Michael Cera and them making it a big deal for Edgar Wright and him to like reunite and him just to get kind of, I mean, kind of have like this action scene and then basically go about his way into the heaven. Like it's, I thought that was pretty cool. There are like I said, there's certain things about this film that really makes it for a good rewatchable film. If and I hate to say this because when we say this, it kind of means like you kind of need to overlook a lot of stuff. But when you turn your brain off, right? When you turn your brain off, it might be pretty decent. I give it a solid 7 for sure. It's better than your average action flick, but it's not. It's it trying to be as thought provoking as it can and try to make you think like, oh, we're gonna go this way and all that stuff. It just was unnecessary for this film, especially when you're trying to kind of promote it as this action dystopia Hunger Games kind of thing, and it's just not, it didn't land as it should have, unfortunately. No pun intended for the plane at the end of the movie though. But yeah, for the most part, it was pretty decent. Check it out, guys. It's on Paramount Plus right now if you guys want to go look at it. I would recommend a watch, right? Like this is
I would recommend it.
We wouldn't walk away and say not to watch it. Check it out. Make your own opinion. Let us know what you guys think. Any other movies that we should be talking about? Any topics that we haven't talked about that we should be? TV shows you want us to review? Josh, let them know where they could do all that or hear their voice on one of these episodes.
Twitter, TikTok, Instagram at FilmBros Podcast. We post on episodes or you can hit us up there for news and movies and ones to cover. Buzz promptly in the social as gave you. It's like a Patreon. You subscribe. It'll show growth. Really appreciate it. Listen to us anywhere you get your podcast at FilmBros Podcast. Spotify, YouTube Music, Apple Podcasts. Again, wherever you get your podcast. Be part of the conversation. Twitch at FilmBros Podcast. And what's all said and done, subscribe to YouTube at FilmBros Podcast.
And with that being said, we'll talk to you guys on the next one.
Talk to you guys later.